Welcome back. I'm sitting here with Joe Buzzello, who I really have gotten to know off camera a little bit and really enjoy you. And I'm really glad to have you as a guest on the show.
Thank you, Jack.
And he's the president of the Buzzello Group and the creator of the CAP equation, the CAP. We're going to find out what that is.
Right.
And it's called a foolproof formula for unlimited success in sales. I love anything that's foolproof. And he's the author of the upcoming book, also titled The CAP Equation. And Joe has over 35 years of experience in sales. You don't look old enough to have that much experience, but I'll accept that.
Thank you.
Now, the title and subtitle of your book, The CAP Equation, implies that there's a formula. I love formulas. I teach formulas.
I know you do.
And it suggests that it's proven.
Right.
So I want you to talk about that, how you came up with it. Basically, tell us a little bit of how it works.
The origin of the equation really dates back to a conversation 34 years ago. I sat with a sales trainer when I was a young sales trainer. By the way, I started in the business when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
The business of commission sales. So I've literally been in commission sales my entire adult life. And I was a new trainer for a company, Jack, and they had me go out and spend time with a top trainer, top manager, right down the street in Camarillo, California. And he worked like a dog that day, and we only stopped for about 15 minutes to have a hot dog, a chili dog, as a matter of fact. And he had three chili dogs to my one. But as I was trying to soak any wisdom I could out of this, very skilled trainer, I asked him a little bit about his coaching philosophy and why people succeeded, why people failed. I was trying to find all those answers. And he said, there's only three reasons that people fail, one or a combination of the three. One is they don't say the right things. Number two is they don't say them in the right way. And number three is they don't say them to enough people. And there's a tremendous failure rate in commission sales. And so one of the reasons I wrote the book and I created the CAP equation was to try to affect that figure. And the CAP equation stands for competencies. A C in CAP is competencies. And those are all the things we know we have to do as a salesperson. Set appointments, learn how to present and articulate, engage someone into our presentation, overcome objections, ask for the sale, ask for referrals. And those things are actually relatively easy to learn, and most companies script those for you. And then we add the C to another integer, and that's the A, the attitude. The attitudes are a little tougher. That's the tougher part of the equation, and I have found, certainly over my 35 years of sales and sales management and sales training, that we don't do a good job of that. We don't teach salespeople how to think, feel, and respond, and accordingly behave when they hit the wall. And they could hit the wall for a number of reasons: failure, rejection, and through our program, we teach them to model the best competencies, add those to the best attitudes that are modeled after the top producers, some of the best producers I've ever had a chance to work with and train. And then we multiply that. The last integer in the CAP equation is P, and P stands for pipeline management practices. And of course, like that gentleman said over the chili dog, if you're not talking to enough people, you could be extremely competent, you could have a great attitude, but you're probably going to fail anyway. So the CAP equation came about as I took a hiatus from that 35-year sales experience and sales management experience. The CAP equation really works if someone will work it. Of course, it's only foolproof if someone will go to work, right?
True. I'm curious, you said, I became very interested when you said attitudes, and we got those or modeled after the top salespeople. Right. Give me an example of an attitude or two.
Well, I'll take one. The most common is failure. To the top 5%, 10%, 20%, they don't fail. They have a metric result. They look at a no as a predictable metric result on the path to a yes. So there isn't any failure. Every no they gets them that much closer to a yes. So when they get a lot of no's in a given week, or they run into something that might be called a slump, it isn't a slump, it's just a metric result. They're just playing out that string. They don't change anything they're doing because they know they've tested their competencies, and their competencies are solid. So in this program, we help people assess and rate on a scale of 1 to 5, and we help them improve. We get them quickly to a 3, which is adequate, and then we make them a 4 or 5. Maybe their second year in sales, they become a 4 or 5, but 3 gets a job done. And so that attitude about rejection or failure has changed to a metric result.
That's very interesting. I remember when we were doing seminars in St. Louis, we had 1 out of 9 people that we would telemarket would sign up. And one night someone got 81 no's in a row, and then they got 9 yeses.
Oh my God.
So it was just a metric result.
Exactly.
I'd never heard that metric result. I like that a lot.
It changes. It takes all the emotion out of it, Jack. And the top salespeople that I've met are able to run level. There's a different mindset. And so we don't teach people how to think, feel, and respond quickly enough in sales. And that's sometimes why we lose them. And when we lose a salesperson, if they didn't want to do the work, that's one thing. But if they failed in sales and they walk away and say, well, I failed, I guess I'm not a natural-born salesperson, or I guess I wasn't lucky, that's not the answer at all. It's really a mathematical equation.
That's very cool. So can you share some of the results you've seen teaching the CAP equation to people? What kind of results do you see out there?
The results for those who follow the program.
Yeah.
And that's a big if. The results are really, they're great. They're amazing. They were shocking to me at first when I first got out on the road teaching, training, working with people through group coaching programs as well as keynotes. We see about 20% to 35% increase in income. And that's something extremely quantifiable, and that's great. We also see people having more fun with sales. And I think if people have fun with a business, their passion will increase and they'll stick and stay in that industry. I always had fun in sales because I made it a game. And I figured out how to put that now into an equation. So the results are great. We see that inside of 90 to 120 days.
Very good. Yeah, in my work, I always say the principles always work if you always work the principles.
That's right.
So as long as people follow the equation, it works.
Yeah.
You know, someone wants to find, to me, a system is something that's predictable and consistent.
Yes.
And you've created a sales system, if you will, I think, through this equation. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it really is predictable. And we're, again, we're having a lot of fun with it. And just getting some of those emails back from folks saying, hey, I've employed and modeled some of the competencies, some of the attitudes, some of the pipeline practices, and here's my result. That's worth its weight in gold to me. That's why I designed the program.
So I know you do trainings and you speak at conferences and you have coaching groups, et cetera. If someone wants to get a hold of you to either work with you, find out more about what you do, how do they do that?
They simply go to capequation.com, C-A-P equation.com, and we can help them get involved in a program that fits for them.
Okay, so if you're involved in sales of any kind and you want to take it up to the next level, here's a guy that can deliver. I know we've talked a lot, and I've really come to respect what you do.
Thank you.
So capequation.com. Okay, until next time, this is Jack Canfield. Take care.